tested our add statuses to projects and our get users projects. So let's go ahead and move on to get project by ID. Also, if you hear pounding in the background, my husband's putting a new floor in our bedroom, which is pretty exciting, but also pretty loud. So sorry about that. All right, so get project by ID. And, well, I guess we didn't add a description to this one. So let's add that as well. So should add statuses to projects, features, and user stories. All right, so that get project by ID is supposed to returns a project with statuses from input project ID. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we're gonna have const ID. I'm gonna just make it 1. Okay. And it looks like and then we're going to have everything in specific order, ascending order based on ID. And then we're going to include features, user stories, and tasks. Okay. That's nice. Okay. So then we want to return add statuses to project. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have const project. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy the project and add and project with statuses there. So that way I can just use that because I already know those ones work. So here's going to be, yep, project 1 and yep, project 1. So we're going to get the project from the ID and then we're going to add statuses and return that. All right. So what we want to do is we want to spy on mock project repository and then find one. And we want to mock the return value to be project. So we're going to take the ID and we're going to put it into find one and then we're going to return project. Okay. Then we're going to add the statuses to the project, but that's not something that we need to mock because we'll actually call that function. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to say const result is going to be equal to await service dot get project by ID and then pass in the ID. Then we expect our result to equal our project with statuses. All right, let's go ahead and run this test and see what happens. And we passed 4 tests. So that means we can then go ahead and add the rest of our expect statements. So we expect our mock projects repository dot find one to have been called. And we expect our mock projects repository dot find one to have been called with, and then we're going to copy this. All right, and then we are going to rerun the tests. Perfect, and we pass. All right, so I'm going to say we're good on that test and we can move on. I'm going to minimize the get projects by ID and I'm going to take a look at create project. So that's what we're going to test now. So we're going to say create project. And it looks like we are going to return all of the users' projects. Okay, so we're going to add new project and return all of user projects. based on user ID. All right. So now let's go ahead and write the test for this. So we'll start with our input. So we'll say const name is going to be equal to project2. And I don't know why I did a comma. Let's go ahead and look at get user projects. Yeah, so we're going to get users projects and with the statuses added onto them. Okay. Which, let's look at how that works first. So it's first going to find the projects, and then it's going to add the statuses to all of them. All right. So then const description. So let's actually then, since we have projects and projects with statuses, let's go ahead and just use that. Okay. So we're first saving a project. So what we're going to say is we are saving, it's projects with statuses. Let's look at just projects. Okay, so we have project 1, project 2. So those are the projects. We have projects 1 and projects 2. Okay, so when we get our projects, we're going to pretend that ID 2 is the one that we're adding. Does that make sense? So the description is going to be P2 description. I think it'll make sense in a second if it doesn't already. Okay, and then our const user ID, we're going to say is equal to 15 just because that's what we've been using. All right, so then when we save the project, okay, it is going to come back as project. So maybe I'm going to call it saved project. And I'm going to copy save the project number 2. Okay, so that is going to be what gets mocked as a return value from here. Then we're going to call get user projects, and we're going to call find, and that is where we are going to mock return the saved projects. Okay, and then during that we are going to add statuses to each project. So that's going to be here where we're to say projects with statuses. Okay, so let's go ahead and use our just spy on to make this make a little more sense. Spyon.mock. We are going to start with save, and we are going to mock the return value, and we are going to return saved project. The next one that we're going to spy on is going to be find. So you'll see in get user projects, we use find here. So then we're going to mock return value, and it's going to be saved projects. Okay, and that should be it, because the next add statuses we call does not call anything from there, so that should be fine. Okay, so then we want to say actually call the service function. So we're going to say const result is going to be equal to await service dot create project. Let's go look at what we're passing in, and then we're going to pass in the name, the description, and the user ID. Okay, we expect then that the result is going to equal projects with statuses. All right, that was a lot, so let me send it and see what happens. Woohoo! And it worked, so that's exciting. All right, so now we can add our other expect statements. So, don't know why that popped up. We also expect the mock projects repository dot save to have been called. We expect the mock projects repository dot save to have been called with. Let's go find this save. Oops, sorry, my phone is not on silent. we're going to say Control C, copy, and put that there. All right, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to do the same sentences, but mock projects repository dot find. We expect to have been called, and we expect mock project repository dot find to have been called with, and then we'll go to where we use that, and we will copy the object that is passed into it. Now let's rerun the tests and make sure that they work. They do not, because we don't have an ID here, because what we actually have is user ID. So good catch, Just. And now we are passing. All right, this looks pretty good to me. So we can now move on to update and delete project. So let's start with update. So I think I'm actually going to end the video here, and I will start update project and delete project in the next one. All right, see you soon.